Russian forces are now mobilizing along the southern border with Ukraine. Yeah, they're moving away from the border. The military drills that in that region were announced. Both the beginning and end dates were announced well in advance, and the end date for those drills was February 16th, tomorrow. Very conveniently, the United States and NATO have been, announcing that, Russia was going to invade Ukraine on February 16th. And here it is, February 15th, and Russian forces are loading up their equipment on railheads to move their troops and equipment back to their normal permanent duty bases. So now Russia does have a number of bases that are along that border. This is something that makes sense. So let me show you a map here. All right, so this is a map of Russia. And, okay, if you look at a map of Russia, all right, they're not likely to be invaded by North Korea, Mongolia, Kazakhstan, China, over here. Where are they if someone was going to invade them? Who would be most likely to invade them? Either the U.S. or NATO. Most likely NATO, including the U.S. So where would they invade from? Well, Ukraine would be the most likely place. You take a look at this. Here's Ukraine. You got Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Finland, and these are all like NATO members. Poland, Hungary, Germany. So they would be coming, most likely, through Ukraine. Yeah, because that's where they would be. They would be headed for Moscow, right here. There's Moscow. So it makes sense that they would have a number of permanent military installations right along the border with Ukraine, who is the most adversarial country that they have to deal with directly. I mean, they deal with NATO, but they're always trying. They've even suggested for years to become a part of NATO. Anyway, they've also announced that the military maneuvers that are happening in Belarus are going to be ending within the next few days as well. They have invited foreign observers, foreign officials to act as observers as they draw down in Belarus. Why did the United States say that, well, first, why are they ending today when they said it was ending tomorrow? Because they consider the demobilization of their forces from these drills to be a part of the maneuver. Any military, when you say these drills are ending on a particular day, it's common for you to start packing up and moving out on the day before the very end. That is the very end of those maneuvers. So by tomorrow, all of the forces, all of the equipment that were moved in for these maneuvers are going to be gone. The final parts being moved out will be railheaded out and gone back to their permanent duty stations. Why did the United States claim that Russia would be invading tomorrow? So that any movement of troops could be seen as, confrontational. But instead, they didn't even plan on the fact that Russia would be moving forces away the day before, even though that's what U.S. forces would be doing. So, if you look at, let me bring up that Russian map again. If you look and see, if somebody was going to invade Russia, most likely it would be NATO. They have no time from Ukraine to Russia. This is one border. It's right there. From Finland, here, from Lithuania, and all these countries. The only one that they might have to pass through, which is allied with Russia, would be Belarus. So that's the only buffer area region that they've got. I mean, any country is going to generally have most of their military bases located along close to their border regions. The United States is an exception to this because to invade America, then another country, land forces, would have to land directly on the continental United States, or they would have to amass forces in Mexico or Canada, Mexico being the most likely because it has the smallest military, and any hostile force would meet the least resistance from that area. So, Canada has their military. It's part of the United Kingdom, so they would be meeting with the forces of Canada, the United Kingdom, the entire United Kingdom, and the United States if somebody tried to invade. But any other country that even considered invading the United States, it's not likely. So we have the luxury of spreading our military bases out all over the country, the center of the country, and so forth. But still, along our southern border, San Antonio alone has got 5 military bases. Just north of that, north of Austin, you've got Fort Hood, which is a massive military base. And you've got the largest buildup globally of nuclear weapons in Albuquerque, et cetera, et cetera. So we have a luxury that Russia does not have. So all this talk about Russia's going to invade Ukraine, a large part of this has to do with just deceiving you. If Russia is moving away, well, somehow NATO and the United States has won something. There's nothing that's been won. In fact, the Russian Duma, which is their parliament, their Congress, has voted by a huge margin to recognize formally the independence of the Donbass region. And they have sent that to Putin to sign. Now, what would this do? This would withdraw Russia from the Minsk agreement. The Minsk agreement is useless. It is completely useless because Ukraine has never honored the Minsk agreement, which the Minsk agreement gives the Donbass region autonomy, independence, political independence. It would still remain part of Ukraine, but politically and militarily autonomous. This is reasonable considering the attacks that they have been under. So this gives Putin a tool. Either Ukraine agrees to honor the Minsk agreement, or Russia withdraws from the Minsk agreement. And what does that do? That gives Russia the right, legally, politically, to defend the Donbass region. It would no longer be considered part of Ukraine. So this is a turning point. All of this is a turning point. Now, while they are moving their forces away, which is a peaceful move, if they withdraw from the Minsk agreement, this is a political move. So it's all in the court of the West now. The U.S., Ukraine, NATO, they have to make a decision. Are they going to honor the Minsk agreement or are they not? You can count on the fact that Putin is going to put this up there as an option. Either you honor the Minsk agreement or we withdraw from the Minsk agreement. So either a new agreement gets written up and negotiated, or, but with this agreement already written, already signed by Ukraine, and Russia and Germany and France, either Ukraine honors this agreement or Russia withdraws from it. So this gives Putin a tool. He can step up there and say, you honor this, or the Duma has already stated, honor to recognize the autonomy of the Donbass region. This is a choice. If I sign this, the Minsk agreement is null and void. And then there is no diplomatic agreement in existence anymore. It just isn't there. So, yeah, Russian troops are mobilizing. So, what happens now? All right, share this video. Talk about these subjects. If you can afford it, then please donate $1 a month to help expand the website and the channel. Please sign up at issuesunite.com. Social media with no government or military involvement. All right? Your information is private. Your private information stays private. nothing gets sold or shared with anybody unless you share it directly. All right? So thank you for watching. Have a good day.